Hey everyone, I am here with Chris Jones, the founder and CEO of Guerilla Realty. Hey Chris.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm awesome. I'm actually pumped to do this. I'm a fan of the show.
Thank you. Well, I'm really excited too because even though you're a real estate agent, technically, you do a lot of different apps that for realtors to make our life easier. And I want to talk to you about a few of those today. Can you just give us some overview of like how you started doing that and why first?
Yeah, so founder and CEO of Guerilla Realty, and our number one core value as a company is that we're here to help agents win. So when we ask ourselves if we want to take on a project, that's the question we ask is can we do it?
Mhm.
And is it going to help agents win?
Right.
And if the answer is yes, we do our best to make it happen. So we develop apps. And when I say apps, it's not like something you're going to find in the iPhone app store, the Android app store, just really simple single function apps that realtors need online. So we can go through a couple of examples, but we found that when we're trying to grow our newsletter list so that we can tell people about the things that we do,
Mhm.
is you can offer a free PDF or a hot sheet or a tip sheet or something like that. And
Right.
realtors like that a little bit, but what they really love is getting free software where all they have to do is sign in with their email. And so we grow our list. People love being on our list because we only share like really useful webinars
Mhm.
and more free apps. And so they enjoy being on the list, but we grow our list, and it's a lot more fulfilling giving out free software versus a PDF
versus stupid
Yeah,
stuff, right? Well,
for
one of
sure.
the ones, so we have, as most people know, I'm a cold caller, and I buy like my data from Vulcan, but a lot of
Great
agents,
company.
yeah, I love Vulcan. A lot of agents don't have access to that, or they, feel like it might just be they're trying cold calling and they don't want to pay. And so your Fizz Bonanza app, tell us about that one.
Yeah, so Fizz Bonanza came about because we were teaching agents one of our playbooks. Did I disappear on you?
Yeah, it's okay.
I apologize.
No problem.
Now that we're on the phone, I'm going to keep getting interrupted. Hopefully
I
that
know,
doesn't
right?
happen
It's
again.
okay.
So anyway, Fizz Bonanza came about because we were teaching what we call a playbook. And a playbook is just like a simple step-by-step marketing formula that an agent can use to go and get more clients. So we were teaching a for sale by owner or a FSBO playbook.
Okay.
And one of the roadblocks that we hit is the agents were like, okay, where do I get the FSBOs? And we were like, oh, well, you can go on Zillow and you can kind of scan through, but it's very time consuming.
Yes.
It's not methodical at all. Like you're clicking around on a map. And so we thought, well, this is publicly available data, and there are probably other sites, and there were. What if we just collected all that data and put it together in a really easy to use app, since we're good at designing software? And so we did it. So Fizz Bonanza was born. You can find it at fizzbonanza.com. You log in, enter your home zip code, and then the radius 5, 10, or 15 miles that you want to search between. And it'll just pull up all of the for sale owner listings. And
but you could also enter
work.
in the zip code if that's in the center of your territory, then I would think.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
And my favorite feature is that then once you've done the search, and like I just did it this morning in my area, there's 33 for sale owner listings. Once I've done the search, is that I can subscribe to the search through FSBO or Fizz Bonanza, and every Monday morning at 9 a.m., it'll tell me what are the new for sale owner listings in my market. So it's like an automatic lead gen machine that just tells me who's listing every
now,
single
Chris,
week.
that just means we ran out of excuses. Everybody has to call them now.
Oh yeah, no excuses.
Get on the damn phone.
Yep, it doesn't cost a dime either.
That's awesome. The other one, what's your favorite app that you've invented?
So Fizz Bonanza for sure is my favorite. My second favorite, it'd be a close second, is Listing Cake. So you can get this at listingcake.com. It's just an app that allows you to build awesome listing videos in 60 seconds or less. So whenever we put a new listing online, we know that one of the big, of course, we love getting paid a commission and selling somebody's house fast and for top dollar. Okay. Yeah. But one of the other benefits is that we know that we're going to attract a crap ton of leads. All right. And the way that we do that, a lot of people just like, see if this sounds familiar. Most agents, when they want to market a property that they're putting online, they put it in the MLS, and then they go spam a bunch of different Facebook groups and spam some of their friends. And then they say, okay, I've marketed it. right?
We're
I
done.
marketed the property.
Well, you
I'm
forgot
done.
they also pray. They
Oh
pray to
yeah,
whoever. Yes.
yep, they pray to the real estate
Please
gods
sell, please
that they're
sell.
merciful. Yeah, that please sell. Right. So
Yeah.
then I can brag about how it sold and how I'm a great agent. Okay. But the truth is, the longer now I sell all of our homes, we have a goal that we want to sell in under the average days of market, and we track what the average days. I'm a total numbers geek. Okay. But
We're
I
not
know
shocked.
I know that when the listing is online, that not only is it going to serve my client, right, by marketing it, but it's also going to serve me because I'm going to attract, like I said, a crap ton of buyer leads. And remember, when you're attracting buyer leads, about 55% of all those buyer leads are also seller leads.
Exactly.
So even if you're an agent that says, look, I'm only listings, I'm listings only, I don't really care about getting more buyer leads, especially in this market. Okay.
Right.
I'm only looking for listings. Remember, 55% of all the buyers that come through your pipeline are also going to be listing if you bother to ask them. And so we have a strategy for that as well. But so what we do is we build a listing video that we use as a lead magnet, like a little piece of bait, right? Think of it as like cheese in the mousetrap, right?
Yeah.
And so when we put together a yard sign, it's got text this unique property code to get a full video tour. So maybe you're not interested enough in this property to actually schedule a showing, or maybe that kind of squicks you out because you don't want to get with a realtor yet. You can get a full video tour just by texting this unique code to this phone number. And ding, I just captured a new lead. So it'll automatically reply and it'll send them back this listing cake video. But
can you put that on your social too?
Oh, absolutely. So actually, listing cake is a great for sale by owner approach. You mind if we have 2 minutes to talk about this?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I got tired of calling for sale by owner, and we all know the age-old script is, hey, I've got a buyer. Do you pay out a buyer's commission?
Don't ever say that. It's a lie.
It's a lie. So you show up the next day without your buyer, and you're like, oh, my buyer was busy.
Oh my God.
There never was a buyer.
Never do that ever.
But that's like what, I don't want to name any names, but like some of the biggest coaches in the industry, that's what they teach. All right.
Oh my God.
So I got tired of like every single FSBO script out there was based on a lie, and it sucks. And I'm just not willing to go there. Right.
No.
So my brother and I, we figured out what's the back door into a four-step owner where you just, you think about Gary Vaynerchuk's, jab, 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 left hook. What's a way that we can just offer free value to a four-step owner? And we decided, what if we just went in and took a video of their property? And so now we call four-step owners. So we get on FSBonanza, call through the list. It's so surgical and tactical that I never call more than 2 or 3 four-step owners before I get one yes. It's incredible.
What do you say?
So you're not sitting. So I say, hey, my name is Chris Jones. I'm a local realtor. And I was wondering, can I come by your property to take a video? And they're like, because they were asking, they were expecting.
You're so creepy.
Yeah, can I come and give a listing presentation, right? That's what they're expecting. But instead they're like, a video. And I say, yeah. So I get a lot of out-of-town buyers, which is true. If that's not true for you, please don't lie.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no way to start your relationship with somebody, but say I get a lot of out-of-town buyers. And so I take a video tour of some properties that they might be interested in to save them the trip while they're still out of town.
Yeah.
Right now, everyone has a built-in excuse with COVID, right? Nobody wants to muddle their, mix up their germs with somebody else's, right? So I say, can I come and take a video? And what I want to do is just put together a great video tour of the property so I can share it with buyers that might be interested in. I don't even mention a commission. I could give a crap whether they're paying out a buyer's commission. Okay. So the next day I show up and I take my iPhone. You don't have to have any kind of professional equipment. Take my iPhone. Pro tip though, turn it on its side, go landscape mode, don't do portrait.
What if you have like an iPhone like 6 or 7? No, I'm just kidding.
Doesn't matter.
Okay,
it'll still look good.
What if you have a flip phone, Chris?
Then get an iPhone. Step number one is get an iPhone or some kind of smartphone. Android, some of the Android cameras are even better than iPhone. Right. Okay. So you go there, you take a couple of snapshots. It's not all about the video. So take some snapshots of the property. Take a few like 10 to 20 second video clips seem to do the best. Like you don't want like 1 20-minute tour of the property. Yeah. Okay. If you want it to come out good, it should be a mix of photos and like 10 to 20 second video clips. Okay. So you do that. You go to listingcake.com the minute you're over. Okay. And in 60 seconds, you can upload all of the video clips and pictures. And then you just organize them in the order that you want them to appear in the video. Okay. Right. And then you choose background music, and then you choose a polished overlay that'll have like your information, the price of the house, like all the details that you want. It'll make you look like a pro movie producer. And it's specifically made for realtors. Okay. Then you click download the final cut, and you can download it to your phone. You can upload it to YouTube or Facebook or wherever you want to host it. And now you have a free video tour that you can offer as bait. Now, here's what I do though.
Okay.
I call the owner back the next day and I say, listen, I came by, I took a video of the property. By the way, it's a great house. Why do you guys even want to sell it? Right?
Yeah, nice.
And you want to get it what their motivation is, figure out, what's the timeline and what's the real motivation. And it doesn't really matter what they say, just matters that you listen. And once we get through that, I say, well, listen, there's something, I don't know if you know this, but Zillow makes it really hard for you to connect with buyers, right? So they list all these Zillow Premier agents on the side of your listing, and it makes it look like one of them is your listing agent, right? And I know you're trying to avoid that because you're listing by owner, right?
Right.
And they bury your information all the way down at the bottom of the listing, so it's really hard to find.
Right.
And trust me, they're already aware of this. So they're
They
like,
already
oh
know.
yeah, that really pisses me off. I hate Zillow, it sucks or whatever. And I said, well, look, we have a really simple hack that we can put your information at the top to fix your Zillow listing, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to connect with potential buyers.
Okay.
And they're like, all ears. Okay. So I say, here's what we do. We take your lead photo and we run it through our photo branding tool, another app. Okay. So freephotobranding.com. You can put the links in the video or whatever.
Okay.
But freephotobranding.com. You take that lead photo, run it through. We put a call to action. It's really subtle. It's consistent with like Zillow's colors and everything. So it looks super professional. And you can put whatever call to action when you want. But the one that works really well for us is for a full video tour, text this unique property code to this phone number.
Okay.
Right. And I said, now look, we can brand this with your information, Mr. Seller, or we actually have an awesome tool. It's a text autoresponder so that when somebody texts that code, even in the middle of the night, it'll automatically instantly reply with the info the buyer's looking for. And that way you don't have to deal with the headache of getting up at 3 a.m. and texting the
Right.
But
it's automatic.
I will tell you, we are equally comfortable with either option. So you want to brand it with your information, that's fine. You can also use our tool for free, no strings attached. And 9 out of 10 times they say, well, it sounds really cool, I'd like to use your tool. Sometimes they will ask, well, what's in it for you? And so I just tell them, well, I'd love to get your house sold really quickly, but some of these people aren't going to be able to afford your house, or it's not going to be right for them.
Right.
And I'd like to find them another house. So it's a great favor to me.
Right.
But again, you don't have to do it. I really am just I'm just here to help you win. I want to help you get your house sold in whatever way I can, even if I'm not the listing agent. Okay. Now you've downloaded an immense amount of value on this person.
Yeah.
Okay. They flip the Zillow listing so that all the potential buyers, and by the way, the average Zillow listing gets like 500 views a week or something. And all those people are going to be texting you to get the full video. Right. So you're going to get a steady drip of buyer leads while you're waiting on this for sale by owner to come to a census, which they always do. Like, what is it?
They always do.
68% of for sale by owners end up listing with an agent once they get frustrated.
Of the ones that like, it's something like that, but there's like this whole other group that's of the ones that are actually gonna sell. Because there's like this whole other group that just puts it up there, but they never really intend to sell, right?
Right, or it's listed way too high. They're like, hey, make me move. Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So still a high percentage, the majority of for sale by owners who are serious eventually do list with an agent.
They
right?
do,
So
and I think it's even higher than 68%. It's like 9 out of 10 of them or something.
And I would issue this statement. I would say that it's even higher with for sale owners that you come into contact and I come in. And the reason why is once you've showed them that not all realtors are used car salesmen.
Right.
They're not all flaky, lazy, scammy, people.
Yeah.
Then they're much more comfortable with the idea of letting somebody else manage the sale of their property. And so generally this is what happens.
By owners. Right.
Oh, totally. But here's what happens. Okay. A week goes by, maybe 2 weeks, and they text me and they say, hey, Chris, have you got any bites? I'm just really frustrated. I don't know what to do. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Bingo, right? That is a listing presentation.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, and then I just go and give them the listing presentation. And I say, honestly, in some markets, you don't necessarily need a realtor as long as you're willing to deal with the hassle. But in this market currently, I think it's showing that you do need to market the property to more buyers.
Right.
And the like easiest way to do that.
Yeah.
Easiest way to do that is to get it in the MLS and to market it properly on social. And I just show them my plan and boom.
That's awesome.
I have an agent in Texas who's following this playbook, is literally averaging 1 listing per week only from this FSBO playbook.
That's awesome. I love that. That's so
awesome.
cool. So I mean, I'm trying to think if people don't have like where using that script where they have like people coming from out of town, there's so many different ways that we can say it. And I agree with you, say it so that it's true. And then it also makes sense because that's the beauty of for sale by owners. If it is logical, you're good. It doesn't matter what you say as long as it's truthful and it's logical and that's it.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's perfect. So you can get the buyer leads, which to your point, a lot of them are sellers. And if you don't want to do buyers, get the leads and refer them out. Like,
Absolutely.
who cares? You're still getting paid, right?
Yeah. So many people underestimate 95% of all the listings so our record, my brother and I, record is 114 listings in 1 year, which may not be big in certain, but here in Central North Carolina, that's big time listing age. Okay. And I don't say that to brag, just to establish credibility. But that year, 95% of all our buyers originated, or all of our listings originated with a buyer lead, right? So we have a really super simple script. We have a minute to share it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll just role play with you. Yeah, so it's really simple. So I call and I started off just like any regular buyer script. So hey, I saw you were interested in 323 Whitney Drive. Did you find everything that you need? Yep, I'm all set. Remember, people are afraid of realtors. They don't want anything to do with you, right? So, okay, no problem. But I wanted to ask before you go, whenever you eventually do buy, are you going to be putting your current home up for sale, or are you going to be keeping it? And this phrasing is very specific, because when you say, are you going to be keeping it? They're like, no, we're not rich. No, of course we're going to be selling it. We just have to find the right home because we don't want to be homeless.
Right.
And I say, no, I completely understand. But I'm glad you told me. Something that might be helpful while you guys wait, while you guys search for your next home, is we offer what we call a 50-point CMA. And it's every bit as accurate as a professional appraisal, but appraisals cost like $500. But it'll tell you exactly what you could sell your house for, exactly what you would net if you were to sell it in the next 3 to 6 months. And we take 50 different data points. We get into the property, we go really deep, and it's 100% free. So appraisals cost $500. We do this for free. Is that something that would be helpful to you? Okay. Now, I'm not doing the standard realtor, take 3 active listings, take 3 closed listings, and then take an average and say, oh, I just price. Okay. We call it the bulletproof CMA, but we have a very, very intense process. And in fact, my next favorite app is going to be bulletproofcma.com. It's not ready yet, but just sneak preview.
When will it be ready, Chris?
It's going to
That's got to be a difficult one.
Yeah. So
yeah,
before Thanksgiving, it'll be launched before Thanksgiving. That's all I can promise. Okay. But bulletproofcma.com, and we already share this calculator, just so you know. So you can go to nerdsheets.com, another one of our free apps. It's got all of our calculators in it, and you download this Google spreadsheet. Anyone who cares can do a bulletproof CMA in under 15 minutes with our spreadsheet app. It's super easy. It crunches all the numbers for you, but it takes into account appreciation, which no other CMAs do. And it uses 50 data points when the average realtor CMA uses like 5 to 8 data points. Right. If you're lucky. Right. So I personally, this is something I can rant on all day. I absolutely can't stand the 24-hour hero, and they're everywhere right now, right? Because the market's really hot. You know what the 24-hour hero is?
What is
this? This is somebody that underprices a house drastically, right? Because they're using an old school crappy CMA method. The house sells in under 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then they throw themselves a parade as if they're some kind of hero, right? When in reality, let me ask you this. If you had a classic car like a Corvette, and you listed it for sale on Craigslist, and you listed it for $50,000, and within the hour, you had 2 different cash buyers come to you and say, I'll take it off your hands right now, what would the first thought that goes to your head be?
I mean, I know what you're getting at. Like, I underpriced it, but it could also be the right price.
It could be the right price.
Yeah.
If that's all the appraisal support. But everyone needs to remember, because everyone's always on me about, oh, what about the appraisal, Chris? The appraisal, the number one indicator that they consider when pricing a home or when appraising a home is an accepted offer, what somebody's willing to pay for it. And every appraiser will tell you that. Now, it's not the only thing that they consider.
Right, because they have to back it up with data.
Correct. Okay. But it is the number one indicator, right? It's the number one thing that they consider is having an accepted offer. So if you were to go pay for an appraiser or an appraisal when there's no contract, you might get one number, but once you have an accepted offer,
It's
that's
a totally
going to influence
different.
it. It's
Right.
a totally different ballgame. The other thing is when I do the bulletproof CMA, it's not like I'm just justifying really high prices, but what I do is I establish a reasonable range of value. Because remember, houses aren't a commodity like gold or wheat or Bitcoin, where you can just look up a to the penny price at a given moment in time. So generally, they're somewhat price elastic, right? And so what I do is I establish a reasonable range of value, and the low end is going to sell really quickly, right? You only have to show it to a few buyers to find somebody at that price point.
Right.
And then at the high end, you're going to have to show it to a lot of buyers. And so what a really good agent can do is they can get the property exposed to a ton of buyers really quickly.
Right.
So when we do marketing, not only do we bribe buyers to do showings, so we pay out 4% commission versus just a standard 3% here in North Carolina. So we bribe people to bring buyers to the property in the first place. Because remember, it's just showing it to the right number of buyers so that we can eventually find somebody at that price point. But on top of that, we have a social campaign that anybody could execute. It doesn't like, we don't pay money for Facebook ads. We do a social campaign where our average listing gets shared like 20 to 30 times. And we just show it to a ton of people really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. And so generally we actually beat the average days of market here in our area of North Carolina. And we do it at the high end of the price range. But anytime that I sell a house in 24 hours, my first thought is, I could have listed it higher. I could have listed it higher. And to be honest, it doesn't really happen anymore because the Bulletproof CMA really does show you where the high end valuation is. And I always recommend that my sellers, I say, look, be patient. So we just had a listing. We listed it at a record-setting price for that subdivision. Instead of selling in 1 day, it sold in 11 days, right? Which still beat the area's average days on market. That's the other thing. Realtors don't really know their average days on market. Okay? So go to nerdsheets.com. There's another average days on market calculation that uses absorption. So most realtors just log into the MLS. And the MLS tells them, but remember, that's only the average days on market of properties that sold. Right. So it never calculates homes that never sell or expire. And I know you love cold calling, so you know about expires, right?
I do.
It also never calculates homes that are unlisted. And then relisted a few days later, right? Because it resets the clock. And they do that on purpose. Just to avoid the stigma of a house that's been sitting on the market.
We do that when we're listing. It also doesn't, well, does your sheet calculate off-market properties?
No, it doesn't. But here's what absorption is. So absorption is how every other industry on earth calculates their version of days on market. So like, if you've ever wondered, how does Walmart know how many pickles to order? Right? So here's what they do. They figure out how many pickles sold in the last quarter or the last whatever period. Okay. And they divide it by how many pickles are currently on the shelf right now. And that shows the rate of absorption over that time period.
Yes, over the period. Right.
So current inventory would absorb like 4 times over the last time period. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
And this calculator will do it for you. You don't have to be a math.
No, we do it on like a spreadsheet right now. But yeah, it would be if you're not good at math, which most realtors are not. That would be easier.
I suck at math. I'm the guy that's always making mistakes. So I like to have calculators that crunch the numbers for me, so I don't make those simple mistakes. So look for that days on market absorption calculator, but it'll figure out your absorption rate, but then it'll also extrapolate an average days on market. How many days on average, which means, remember, 50% of houses are going to sell faster than this, but also 50% of houses are going to sell slower than this as well. It's going to follow the standard, bell curve. Exactly. So I always recommend knowing your days on market using the absorption method, right? So generally the MLS will undercut your actual true days on market by 20 to 30%.
It just depends on how many people have like canceled and relisted.
The other cool thing about using absorption is that the minute the market starts to slow down and inventory starts piling up, you're going to know before other people that days on market is going up. And the reason why is that when you're using the MLS number, you don't know average days on market until the property closes, which is remember, that's like 30 days after an accepted offer. So you don't know until months later what the market is doing. When you're using the absorption method, you can actually watch in real time inventory pile up, and you can watch the days on market change accordingly. So it's really cool. It's actually like a barometer that shows you what the market's doing at the same time as telling you accurate days on market.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I usually watch, like, there's a 24-hour market watch in our MLS, and you can watch and you can see like actives and pendings. And it used to be like the pendings were exponentially higher than the actives, right? And then once the actives start creeping up, you're like, oh, I mean, you could tell, right? But this is like just much better, more accurate. Mine's more. Anyway, so if people, I did want to talk about the one other app, and this is a lot of information. So I want to make sure that we also tell people like how to get in touch with you if they want to like talk more about these apps or learn more about them or whatever, right? But the what about that pipeline one?
So Pipeline Pro Tools?
Yeah.
So we like to call Pipeline Pro Tool the world's best marketing engine for realtors. And the goal here is, and I know you agree with me, but our underlying belief here at Guerrilla Realty is that real estate is the greatest business on earth.
Of course it is.
Like
the biggest return on investment that you can have.
Oh, absolutely. And you're building it. So not only do you have uncapped earning potential, I've literally seen it play out over and over and over again. Somebody was a hairstylist yesterday or nail tech. Not that there's anything wrong with those jobs, making $40,000, $50,000 a year, $250,000 net commissions in their first year in real estate. Like mind blowing. Okay.
Yes.
In terms of economic mobility, it's incredible for realtors who are willing to put in the work. Okay.
Right.
But every realtor is going to come across, is going to discover the problem eventually that getting consistent clients is really hard. Right.
Yeah.
And when they discover that, what they realize is that they're on their own. You have to build your own marketing engine from scratch. Right. It would be like if you or I, in order to drive a car, you or I had to build an internal combustion engine from scratch. Like if that was the requirement,
never drive anywhere.
I would never drive. I assumed it was the same for you, but some genius a long time ago built a clonable engine that's built in factories all across the world now. And so now like a 16-year-old kid can get in a car and we don't even turn a key anymore. Remember, we like push a button and then they drive away like a pro. And that's what Pipeline Pro Tools is. So it's a clonable marketing engine so that any agent in any market with any level of experience, right, veteran or newbie alike, can get in and turn the key and line up consistently client after client after client. So it's a series of tools that we give. I won't go deep into the weeds, but it's a series of tools that you need in order to do really good marketing. And then it's also a series of marketing playbooks. And a playbook, that's just our terminology.
So some of the stuff that we talked about earlier is incorporated in that, I imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So it's a series of playbooks that are just like your go-to trick that just works every single time. And I always recommend, usually you want to have your one go-to trick, but you want to stack it so you're diversified. Like if your go-to trick was cold calling in New York City and then COVID hit, boom, you're out of business, right? Because they outlawed cold calling for like a year. I think it's actually outlawed again. I think
it still is. Yeah. They have a way around it, but yeah.
If your go-to trick was open houses, COVID hits, boom, you're out of business, right? So I always recommend that you have a number of, it's kind of like the three-legged stool. Like the more legs that you can put on the stool, the more secure your business is, right? And so I always recommend that you have a number of different go-to tricks or just marketing activities that every time I follow this formula, I'm going to get a new client, right? And so Pipeline Pro Tools is all the tools that you need to execute those playbooks, and then it comes with the playbook library that we teach through those marketing activities. But the goal is we just want you to have an end-to-end marketing engine so you can just turn the key and line up client after client after client. So feel free to check it out. It's pipelineprotools.com. Don't feel any obligation to buy anything. I was really happy to do it. I was excited, even if we didn't promote our paid thing. But it is really good. I think you guys will like it.
So if people, go there if they're interested in that. And then if they wanted kind of a summary of all the available tools, is there a place to go? Or do they need to go to each one?
So you can go to guerillarealty.com/tool where we have tools, where we have it all listed. I recommend just whenever you get to guerillarealty.com, just subscribe to our mailing list. So I know most people's mailing list is like a funnel of like 57 emails over, I send out every email to our list manually. I don't schedule emails in advance. I write an email, I send it out. And our goal is we're going to announce when we're doing awesome webinars where we teach through like a crunchy new idea, or I'm going to announce when we launch new free tools. But everything that we send out on our email list is something of value. So get on the email list. We've got like 35,000 email subscribers right now, but we'd love for you to be on the list. And it's the number one way that we communicate with agents. So
that's cool. Is that if they want to get a hold of you going to the website, is that the best way to get a hold of you, or is there a different way?
Yeah, so you can, my actual phone number is published on guerillarealty.com. So you can get a hold of us there. You can get in touch with our team. You can also find us on Facebook. We're not super active on Facebook, but we try to launch all our free tools there and do what we can on Facebook. But just look us up, GuerrillaRealty.com or Guerrilla Realty on Facebook.
Awesome.
And hit us up. Let us know if there's anything we can do for you.
Do you take referrals and stuff for North Carolina? If you pop referral?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, cool. I really appreciate you being on, Chris. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm pumped to be here.
Have a good rest of the day.
All right, take it easy. Bye.